Hello, hello, my dear brothers and sisters. Do I have any sisters here? Crypto. Crypto is making us suffer. A bad day today, minus 10%. Just really, it's just minus 12%. It's crashing by the hour. It's really, I think, a big day today. After it went down a lot, it goes down even more. This is the chart. 2.5 trillion. We're at 2.2 now. Jesus. Amazing. Hey, if you look at 1 year, that's 1 year. 2.5, it's still here showing, but we're at 2.2. That's more close to here. We were at 4 trillion half a year ago. So it's divided by 2, 4.2. But stocks not. Stocks do well in 1 year's time. Oh, wait, I didn't share my screen. One moment. Let me share my screen. Share screen. Window. Yeah, this tab. Share. Okay. So yeah, it's really bad. Where are we with crypto? Crypto is now 2.4 here, but 2.2. It's like at 2 trillion. We're at serious undervaluation in the Trololo chart for the cryptocurrency industry. This is the same valuation we were in January 2021. 2 trillion. No, March 2021. 5 years ago. BTC is also at valuations that we saw 5 years ago. People think that we have started a bear market. Many people think that cryptocurrency altcoins are now seriously undervalued, more than seriously undervalued, similar to the 2016 era. 2016. Minus 90%, minus 80%, minus 80% undervaluation under the trend line, only seen once before a gigantic rally. Yeah, but the concerning thing is stocks do very well still up until today. In the past year, stocks are up from 6,000 to 6,800 S&P 500, and the world indexes are also okay, good, because emerging markets are also participating now. It's really expanding. Small caps, emerging markets, European stocks all picking up a bit. Precious metals also, but really crypto not. Weak bull market for BTC. This is BTC, but at least it went to fair value, but okay. Ethereum went to fair value, above it a bit, but in the middle of the bull market, it was weak already, early 2025. After the Trump hype election, we had a correction, and Ethereum did extremely poor. It went to $1,500 a coin, but now we're at, well, $1,900. That's the same undervaluation again as it was then. An undervaluation below the trend line of 50%. It was 55 then. Are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? If you look at the some factors, you can say we're in a bear market for crypto, for BTC, likely. The strongest guys, yeah, this is a live show, so you can comment, and I will reply. What a bloodbath indeed. Hi, ZZK. Hi, Monero XMR. How are you doing? I will have a little mention of Monero also. I think it's really a steal right now. $350 US, 300 probably by now, and yeah, it really came back from a strong. It was in the middle of a bull market, really. The last one to pump just until 2-3 weeks ago. It went to $700, and then it corrected to 350 or 300 now. It's basically half price in just a week's time, 2 weeks time. But like there's a constructive build-up of price. So I think that if indeed the bull market is not finished, which is still my opinion, it will quite quickly start again, and Monero is probably going to be one of the leaders because it was really rallying already. That's not the case of Ethereum. That was quite weak still when we started this correction. But some altcoins have done well. Zcash did very well some time ago, and some privacy coins, and Monero finally took a bit also recently. So I think that's a good bet to take. I really can't do much myself because, well, yeah, I'm already allocated. I don't want to go full retard here just yet. I only have asked half of my money into cryptocurrencies, but within my crypto portfolio, yeah, I bought a bit extra Ethereum, 3%, but yeah, that's 2,400. Now it's 1,900 just 2 days later. But yeah, I can't really put more fiat or other investments into cryptocurrency, but within my portfolio, I'm still moving a bit. PCH is quite strong in price, and yeah, I'm selling a little bit for that in exchange for Monero. That's now quite weak. So yeah, that's how I do these things. Please comment freely. Curious to hear your feedback. Hi, Dex, for sure. Nice to see you, man. And how low shall we go? Yeah, we don't know that. But the moment you watch down, that means that it's time to buy. Yeah, I can't move much. I was just talking about my portfolio here. Share my portfolio, but what can I do? I mean, I'm not playing this game anymore for maximum gains. I try to like sleep well at night, and not bet my future of me and my family on the market. So I have a quite diversified portfolio. I'm 45% in stock in crypto. I just built that up a bit to 3%, but I have some growth stocks. I have some micro caps. I have also some value stocks, a little bit of commodity plays, but not much, and some cash. It's an opportunity, I think, cryptocurrency, and let's take a look at why. I've written an article on X, and I went through these charts there. You can find that back, but I will show you also here. MVRV is an indicator I like, and MVRV for Ethereum shows that we're very cheap here. We're probably at the blue line now. This was 2000s. Can't see the price, but I mean, we're at valuations similar to the flash crash early 2025 when we went to $1,500, but also I had valuations of bear markets before. Right? These are bear markets. Only during bear markets you see these valuations of Ethereum and altcoins. Let's look at altcoins. Yeah, this is only bear market territory. And I mean, bottom of bear markets almost for altcoins too. Ethereum, it's even lower as the bear market we saw in 2022 for Ethereum. Ethereum held very strong during the bear market 22, and I thought that was a bullish indicator, but I've not been proven right because the bull market was not that strong for Ethereum, and actually we're now going, yeah, and actually it was quite weak, I would say. We expect some like under overvaluation, it goes somewhere here. If you go the first bull market here, you go here, the second bull market, you would expect somewhere here, but that was not reached. But yeah, I'm still thinking the best evidence, I think, or why we might still actually be in a bull market is that the Bitcoin dominance is not completed. Bitcoin dominance well, was dropped by half in previous bull markets at the end of the bull market in 2017 and 2021. It dropped by half. And then it stayed low as the bear market started. But then yeah, and what we saw now is that the Bitcoin dominance did go down, but only for half a year, whereas before it was for 1 year. And so I think this will likely continue. That Bitcoin dominance will go down, and that means altcoins go up versus Bitcoin. I think that's still likely another half year to happen. But let's see. When did the bear market start? That was at the end of 2021. That was here, huh? And the bottom was almost reached. It just remained low for another year. When did the bear market start? Here, that was 2018. Here, and it stayed. It did not stay low. It went back up. So yeah. When we look at the comments. Hoi Mark, en een Dutch comment. Ik volg je sinds de dagen van de gele Lamborghini. Hoe gaat het met je en met je gezin? With my family is going very well, thriving. I have 3 girlfriends and looking for a 4th one, and I have 7 children now and hoping to make another one this year. That's my aim, to have one every year. But it's a big job. Women are a handful at times, and children too. But I love it. I couldn't have wished for more. The gods are graceful. So that's going well. Thank you, man. He says, I'm proud of you. What do you think about altcoins that are holding up better, such as, for example, Hype? Indeed, I've got Hype in my portfolio also, and I'm surprised how good it is holding up. Also, Bitcoin Cash is holding up well. But many others are weak, very weak. Ethereum is weak, XMR is weak. Zano is holding up also, but that's because it didn't do anything the past year. So Zach is weak, Firo is weak, R is, it's okay. Sui is weak, and Sol too. So it's always a good sign when a coin holds up well during a correction. But yeah, it's not the end all be all. It's always nice to see that, but that's not where the opportunity lays, I believe, unless you have really strong fundamentals also, and the story checks out. But I cannot say that for myself. For these coins that are holding up well, such as Bitcoin Cash and Hype, I don't know anything about Hype, so I just follow the Justin Bonds, his selections. He invests in that, in his Solana and Sui, so I follow his picks here. But my own picks, BCH, my story around BCH. I don't believe anymore that has strong fundamentals, but the price has been very strong, but that means it's a sell. Weakening price, strong fundamentals is a buy, and I see that with Ethereum and with Monero right now. So I think these are buys. And Hype, probably, like, even if it has good fundamentals, the price is also showing that, so I don't think that's an opportunity then. But there might be an opportunity in Solana or Sui if indeed the fundamentals are strong there. Is dollar cost averaging here a good idea? Yes, because I think increasing allocation is even a good idea, because if you look at the cryptocurrency industry, First of all, of course, I mean, there's one big, of course, danger, and is that the markets, the stock market, which is overvalued. The PE index is high, PE ratios are high, PS ratios are high. If the total stock market collapses, we are seriously screwed because crypto may go down considerably more. However, that's only one of the possible scenarios. It's also possible that stocks do weaken strongly, but crypto does not collapse more because typically crypto is also the canary in the coal mine and is the first to correct and may actually already have its move behind when stocks follow. That's another possible scenario. But most likely, I think, is that stocks will remain strong because indeed they're overvalued. But if you look at these PE ratios, it's also true that the earnings are of much higher quality. That finally clicked for me because I was long denying that argument, and really pointing out the PE ratio being a big red flag. But if indeed earnings are much more sure to be preserved, a higher multiple will be paid for that. And these days, the S&P 500 consists of technology companies who have monopolies and strong earnings, but likely will keep strong earnings. That's very different from example, banking sector or commodity sector, where if you have higher earnings, it's cyclical and they will go away sooner or later. It's part of the price. But with these high technology companies, it's not because they become big margin that competition will eat that away. No, because they have monopolies. And so a higher multiple is justified. So I think that if you look at the PE ratio, let's look for that chart. Bubble. PE ratio of stocks. That we may see new all-time highs of the price to earning ratios. Here is the Schiller PE ratio. And so, I mean, that's not the right one. Schiller PE ratio, I need another one. Let me check. Strange that it's showing. I don't. But you see a trend actually of the PE ratio moving up. It went sideways till the 80s, but actually since then there is a trend upwards of the PE ratio, and you're making new highs. So I think like even though we're historically high, we can go higher during this bull market. I do finally acknowledge that as a possible, probable scenario. So if you look at crypto, is this a buy? Should it be dollar cost averaging? Yes, because you're at serious undervaluation, similar to the COVID crash in 2020. We're looking at the crypto chart here. This was one of the best buying opportunities. You had more undervaluation in the early days, but you also have a lot higher overvaluation. So these times are over. This is probably, and the title of my channel is Historical Undervaluation. I believe this is a point that we will likely not see. Like this is a very, very great, a good time to buy. Even a lot more is justified than just the dollar cost averaging. This is a moment where you need to increase exposure. If you have the capital, I mean, it's actually a low risk move to increase exposure. Now, I'm making this YouTube video, maybe I'll push myself also more. I do have 40%, 14% cash that I could deploy. But yeah, I want to come back on that a little bit later. Decentralized Dave had some good critiques on my work, and I'll come back on that later. Well, let me first look at the comments here. Dex for sure. I also think this is an extended cycle. What really sets this cycle apart is because of bull market on precious metals, and probably the AI hype on stock market also stole some attention from crypto. Yes, indeed. There are other sectors stealing the show, AI for sure, and that may keep some capital away and make this bull market slower. But I don't think it explains the total absence of an altcoin market. But it's not a fully absence because we already half a year going down in Bitcoin dominance, from 64% to 55%. So that's a 10% drop in Bitcoin dominance that went to coins like Ethereum. Ethereum was only 9%, now it's 11%. So Ethereum gained, stable coins gained, and others gained also in market share a little, but not much. But the biggest move has yet to come. Yeah. I mean, I made an article about MVRV ratio, so you can find it on my X, on my Twitter. The title was Ethereum and Altcoins, a bet worth taking, and I go through the charts. Yeah, if you look at the MVRV ratio of Ethereum, we are at valuations similar to bear markets. If you look at the market cap versus the realized value, on-chain activity, you're picking up Ethereum at bear market valuations today. And I think that's a good thing to do. So I want to also go through the critique of Decentralized Dave on my work. And I think he makes very good critiques. For example, he says here, look, Mark, because let me read that. I have a flashback with you. The last time made a call that do not sell your crypto yet was at the top of 2020. At the top of 2021, and that is, and that was a terrible call, and I agree with that. That was a terrible call, but there's a real big difference between then and now. The difference is that then we just went a lot higher, and this is where I made a terrible call. If you look at the total here, in 2021 and 2021, in November 2021, we're up 3 trillion for the total market cap. And for altcoins, we were at 2 trillion. And I thought it would go higher. And I was really wrong. We went to 500 billion afterwards. But of course, like, what's the difference between me now calling the same? I mean, there's a fundamental difference. Cryptocurrencies went sideways for 5 years. Altcoins are actually half the price they were 5 years ago. And so many other things have happened in the meantime. BTC did have a clear bull market, whereas altcoins not. I mean, yes, altcoins had a recovery. It went from 500 billion to 1 trillion. But that's not a bull market if in the meantime you you're more and more undervalued versus the trend line. You could say a small recovery, but no bull market. We can look at the same chart for BTC. That's the same chart. Yes, a recovery to fair value, but it continued to follow fair value. Only now it's going back to serious undervaluation. Also, my allocation, of course, is a lot lower today. I don't take so much risk anymore. I'm not sweating it too much here, though I'm up, seeing the market move like this and a bit worried. You have that nagging feeling. What can I do? What should I do? You start studying the markets because the price go down and you're so wrong about things and you're losing money. That does happen with me now, but I've seen a lot worse. But that's I'm sweating less because I'm a lot less exposed. I'm only 40% exposed. I have many other investments that may work out for me even if crypto fails. But of course, I will have to live a lower standard of life if crypto would fail. I am well aware of that. I did the calculation. How much should you be justified to invest in cryptocurrencies? And I think that my calculation is well done. Thanks to decentralized Dave. One moment. And yeah, the end result is that full Cali is 40%, half Cali is 20%. Allocation to cryptocurrencies is rational and justified. And that's what I have. Okay, I have full Cali, but I mean, full Cali is high risk, but it makes rational sense to do so. If you have a very strong conviction, you can do that. But doing more, it does not make rational sense, and you need to look at your parameters. Is there maybe something wrong? Probability of up happening first. I only have this at 50%. I think that's a very modest estimation. I would give it a lot higher than that. And then a much bigger allocation is justified. If you change it to, I think it's 90% sure we go up first, then a much higher allocation is justified, double as much. But I want to give modest estimations. And then, because of course, but you should do a more, yeah, but okay. If you take 50%, I think that is a modest estimation. But puts potential, I think that's rational, thought out. I mean, you can just use the logarithmic trend line to estimate valuation of crypto in 2 years' time. The trend line is at 12 trillion. Today we're at 2 trillion. And so, I mean, and that's for the total crypto market cap. I'm not investing in BTC, so I have to look at just altcoins. Just altcoins, you take half of 12 trillion, it's about 6 trillion, 7 trillion. That's also the BTC dominance is likely to go to 40%. And so 60% is alts of a market cap of 12 trillion is fair value in 2 years. And we're at 7 trillion. That's the upwards potential for altcoins. And today we're at 1 trillion, can go to 7 trillion in 2 years. And then it's just fair value. What are the chances? It's a 50% chance that happens. It's a 50% chance that fails, and we cut in half again to 400 billion. That can happen too. But given these odds, that means 40% full Cali, 44% or 22% half Cali, or rational allocations. Hi, Chris Wolf. Hello, Mark. Glad to catch you live. I've been following your work since 2017. We briefly connected on Telegram a few years ago. I'm based in Luxembourg. I personally did very well again this cycle. Big congrats, Chris. With BTC and Ethereum, I had expect the 4-year crypto cycle to repeat, so I positioned accordingly. For the next cycle, my plan is to start dollar cost averaging buying BTC once it approaches the 200-week moving average. Yeah, we're certainly not there at the 200-week moving average. That would be indeed lower, 50K or so. And people that believe that there's a bear market, like you, believe that we will go back to that. But I think the jury is still out on that. But of course, it looks like you're going to be right, but I'm not betting accordingly. um I mean, yeah. But I understand your position. Like I think personally, being out of crypto right now or having a low exposure of 10% or so, that's not a rational thing to do. Even when you believe it's a bear market, we are already at, this is crypto, we're already at serious undervaluation versus the trend line. So why would you be only 10% exposed? It's exactly the same than being in a bull market and being in serious overvaluation and being 90% exposed because you believe you're still in a bull market. Yeah, but that's not wise. Huh? You never know when things turn around. And therefore, you should bet accordingly and allocate accordingly. What's your current exposure, Chris Wolf, to cryptocurrencies? How much percent of your portfolio? Around 75K, he says, is the 200-day moving average. Congratulations as well on your family life and the gains you've already achieved at this point. Capital preservation and risk management clearly become the priority. Yes, I agree with that. I've come to that insight after losing my shirt, 93% loss in 2022, and I said never again. So yeah, I'm a lot more diversified. No leverage, no crypto loans, no margin, no leverage products, just long different sectors. And I'm very proud of my portfolio that I continue to share. Fear and greed index of crypto. We are now at a reading of extreme fear, 12. Yesterday was extreme fear, the worst reading. But if you look at the long-term charts in 2018, you can see that this has been building the fear. In 2024, you had a first correction. The bull market started in 2023. In 2025, you had another correction, early 2025, strong one, especially for Ethereum. And also the fear went high, lots of fear. And now we have even more fear. It's really been building up. And if you look at the chart, it's comparable to indeed previous bear markets where it's a trend downwards. This is 2022 in the middle, but first was already in 2021 at the peak of the bull market. A first strong correction, strong fear, but then another correction, and at the end of the bear market in the middle of 2022, you had a lot more fear. We're not there. If you know, you can see that it's more looks like 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, 3, 1. Maybe could be somewhere in the middle here. Here is another bear market, a trend down, a buildup of fear. But I mean, there's only one point where you could say, like, okay, fear was high, but you shouldn't be buying. That was during the bull market here. There's a start in the middle of 2021 is the start of the bear market. It was even some months later, actually. Let's take a look at the crypto chart here. Middle of 2021 is here. There was a first correction, but actually we're still very high. We go higher again, but the bear market really starts here. But like, you should not be buying. You could have been buying here and you would have a great selling opportunity. But if you didn't sell, you would have gone lower later. And this is where we are now too, I believe. That even if you're in a bear market and even if you would revisit even lower valuations, a bounce is very likely here, in my opinion. Let me see at the comments. Great to see you, Mark says ZZK. In spite of the sad occasion today, I hope you and your family are doing well and had a good start of the year. Thank you so much. Yes, we had a great start of the year. I'm losing some weight. I'm getting a better handle on what I eat in a day, and that's really a big challenge of me that I've been struggling for many years. So I'm very happy with that, and also very excited to be adding my fourth girlfriend that always brings the the energy back in me. It's really a fun thing to do dates and meet new girls. That makes me very happy. But also, of course, things are going well with my family. Everybody's healthy. I'm healthy so far, and my kids are doing well. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. Because of course, bad luck and bad fortune can happen, and I've been spared from that. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's very wise to also keep an eye on the price. The price is for cryptocurrency to grow to market valuations that's comparable to other asset classes. And I also made a post about that recently, and I will share it with you also. I mean, I looked up the different valuations of different asset classes. And for us, cryptocurrencies, we are competing with fiat currencies and banking currencies. This is a sector worth 230 trillion, and we are at 2 trillion. And the direct competitors, which is fiat currency for cash payments, bills, is in total 30 trillion in. I mean, these are the balance sheets of the central banks, 30 trillion, and then you have banking currencies, 200 trillion. Crypto will become as big as them and will become bigger and will take over that industry. Wow, that industry is 100 times bigger. And that's the direct competitor that is clearly inferior in its properties. I mean, just from that perspective, this is a safe bet to take. But real estate, stocks, bonds, art, and collectibles, they are all used to store value because fiat currencies and banking currencies suck so badly to keep your money, to keep your purchasing power. Everybody knows that you shouldn't keep money on a savings account or especially not in cash bills. So nobody does that. Everybody invests their money in real estate or stock indexes or art and collectibles or even bonds. I mean, just because saving accounts and where you can make actual payments and cash that you can use for payments, but they're so bad in storing value. So people are forced to use these other assets to store value, but they come all with problems. Real estate, well, you know, the problem of managing real estate, it's not for everyone, that's for sure. Stock indexes, yeah, that works, but until you have a 10-year bear market, then it doesn't work anymore, and that will come back every 20, 30 years. And yeah, it's a crowded sector, so that's going to stop working also. Bonds don't work if you count for real inflation. You actually lose your capital. I mean, now you get 5%. So if you keep the interest, okay, then you don't lose your capital. But that's a rare situation. Usually, bonds, just like long-term savings accounts, offer a little bit less interest than the real inflation rate, and you can't do anything with your capital. You have to really save the interest rate because it's compensation for inflation. It's not an. It doesn't earn you any extras. And then, of course, art and collectibles is very difficult to really do that well. So if you have a quality currency, then that's better. A well-managed currency that preserves its value, that you can use to store value, that you can use for payments, is a much better solution than all these other investments to store value in. And that's what cryptocurrency offers. And we're talking about a sector here of if you combine the total value of all these asset classes, it's 1,000 trillion. Cryptocurrency will take a piece of that, and it's only 2 trillion today. So yeah, that's really beautiful that you can make this comparison, because we do talk about an asset class here. Yes, cryptocurrency is part of the currency asset class, but it has such a small piece of that asset class. It's only 1%. Currencies, banking currencies, fiat currency is 230 trillion, and then cryptocurrency is 2 trillion. That means it's 1% of the currency sector. It will become a lot bigger. I mean, it's not being outlawed. Only privacy coins are outlawed here and there, but not the major currencies, not the major cryptocurrencies with transparent blockchains. They're not outlawed anywhere. So they will continue to gain market share. BCH is holding well Bitcoin Cash. If Doge crashes, then more BCH will flip Doge. Okay. BCH is going up in the rankings, but that's true. But I still believe it doesn't have strong fundamentals. It doesn't have a real adoption as a currency. It doesn't have a USP, unique selling proposition. Of course, it's the better Bitcoin, it's the real Bitcoin, but that didn't really. That concept is not understood by the market. They don't understand that. And it's a very novel concept also, that you can have two that claim the same brand name. That doesn't happen in the stock market. And it's never a real Microsoft or a real Tesla. There is only one Tesla. And if Tesla fucks up, it will be another brand. And I think people just don't get that you can have a copy of a project and it can be better, or that the original may be the other one than the one that has the name. In case of Bitcoin and BTC has the name, but Bitcoin Cash is the real one. But people don't get that concept. So I mean, I've invested many years in Bitcoin Cash, but yeah, I've given up on that. So for me, this is a selling opportunity, and actually I'm now flipping some BCH for some more Monero. I have similar allocations, but I believe the fundamentals are better for Monero than Bitcoin Cash, so I flip a bit for that. Because Monero, like Ethereum, has a real, what is really being used as a currency. You really need it in certain sectors to be able to make a payment, and no other cryptocurrency is possible to use, and therefore it has a USP. It has a real adoption, and yeah, that's worth. That justifies a higher valuation, but they are the same valuation. They are also technically both proof of work and proof of work coins. Yeah, that's also a problem with Bitcoin Cash, that they have not really improved their technology in that regard. But Ethereum did. It became a proof of stake coin. Zano also is a proof of stake coin. It's a mixture proof of stake, proof of work, but you have the advantage of a proof of stake coin with higher security. It's also Ethereum, and with staking, and you can earn an interest with your coin. You can participate in the validation of transactions without having to have processors, just having to have the coins. So yeah. Look, who else is here in the night show? 21 people. Hi, all. Welcome to this bad day in the crypto sector. It's really a flash crash now. Yeah. What do we have? Who else is here? Alpajo, Mark, you saved me 2018 and I cashed out 50% of my gains at that time. Wow, thank you, man. I'm so happy to hear that I saved someone in 2018. Some people tried to save me in 2021, but I had no ear for it. So good that you had an ear for my message then. He cashed out half of his gains in 2018. Um, why not BTC? He's asking. It was the best horse last bull cycle and probably will be the best in the future. Good question, Alpaco. But yeah, Bitcoin, BTC, why not? Because it's not scaling on chain or very little, and it's not focused on improving its technology so that you have more use cases built on top of it, and therefore catching or at least keeping its markets. It's losing one market after another. It started with DeFi, Ethereum allowed for cheap transactions, and therefore people, and also it allowed a more advanced code to be built on top of it, and therefore applications, you said decentralized finance, were built on top of Ethereum and not Bitcoin, but that's a missed opportunity. That's where it started in 2016, 2015. But later, due to the high transaction fees, it lost other markets, such as being the trading pair on exchanges. Also, a lack of privacy, nothing was done there in that regard. And due to that, Monero took the dark markets away from Bitcoin BTC. And brick and mortar stores too. Like people don't pay with BTC in brick and mortar stores anymore, not online, also because transactions is quite high. If you look at the amount of transactions for BTC, it is growing actually, but not enough to justify such high valuations. Yeah, that's a short. Too many altcoin projects, he says, on the market. I'm waiting for some new inventions in the alt space. Yeah, that's true, of course. You have 10,000 cryptocurrencies, that's tough. But yeah, that's true. I cannot say anything to that. Um, that's difficult. And you cannot just buy an index. But I think just using common sense, as I'm doing here, of like real adoption, real technologies that make sense. If you use that and you invest in several projects, I think you can outperform BTC. But I mean, I've proven totally like if I would have just kept my BTC, I would have done a lot better. I admit to that, but that's yeah, a moment, a snapshot in time. It can also change in the future. You should really, I think, for every investment that you hold, it has to make sense. The valuation has to make sense compared to its utility. And if that's not the case, if it's valued a lot higher than it's useful, and the value is really carried by investors instead of users, then that's dangerous. Like these users do need to come, and it's when something is valued before it's being used, like it's a much more risky approach than when you have the users already, or you have already the of the products or services or of the currency, you have already success, but the market is not valuing the company or the currency. That's a much less risky approach that I much prefer. Which you have, I think, I mean, much more. You don't have that in cryptocurrency, yeah, because this is very. I mean, the valuations are really front running everywhere. The actual user adoption, that's true, but one has it a lot more than the other, and it's the relative valuation that matters. For example, Ethereum has the market lead in real world assets. If any company wants to launch something on a blockchain, they will choose Ethereum because of the network effects. They have to. Or when you offer a decentralized finance solution, you're going to have to offer it on Ethereum. And so like, yeah, it has the lead there. So Shizune says top DPIN projects like Helium and GeoNet have fundamentally are still thriving, gentlemen. Revenue are in the millions of tens of millions. I don't know these projects. Sorry, Shizane. Josh says that he is waiting for the Microsoft bankruptcy. Yeah, that's. I would not have any sad feelings seeing that happen. ZZK says, also, I see a possibility of a snapback from here within the next month. How high do you think it can go? 85K? Oh, that's a good question. But I mean, okay, let's take a look at crypto. Okay, if we're in a bear market, a bear market typically goes towards more, goes sideways, and then to is undervalued more and more. Here you have, yeah, a bear market, but then it snaps and then it goes sideways for a long time. So I mean, if we are a bear market, we can just go sideways and go to higher undervaluation. But in fiat, we go sideways, we don't go lower. But in undervaluation, we go lower. That would be a bear market. But we could also be in a, I mean, here you cannot even make the case that you're still in a bull market. But I mean, I've seen many surprises before. I mean, here I was discussing that some people still believe we're in a bull market. I said, no, of course we're not in a bull market anymore. Did you see the rally here and the correction? Like, come on, how can you even think that? And then, I mean, there was the bottom and up, it shot higher. I mean, who can expect that? I didn't. It was not rational, but it happened. Or here, like you have a bear market, and then it pops out of the bear market. And so this is in the middle. I just talked about 2013. That was a bull market. It was two big moves. The first big move, a half a year strong correction, and another very big move. And then here, a very weird thing happened in the bear market of 2018. At the end, there was total collapse. But after that, within months, it's just very strongly recovered. And we had seen actually the bottom of the bear market, but it recovered so quickly. And then it goes sideways for 1 year and a half, and even corrects again quite strongly before it starts the final big rally. Yeah, I mean, I think the chances indeed that we go actually in a bull, that we're still in a bull market, I think it's there still. And I think Ethereum actually makes that case, because Ethereum, I mean, what happened here? This was clearly a bull market. Nobody disagrees about this. Looking back, 2025 was a bull market also for Ethereum. But what did it do during the bull market? It went to serious undervaluation in the early 2025 with the Trump, after Trump got elected, the correction, it went from 4,000 to 1,500 US dollars in the middle of a bull market to serious undervaluation. And after that, it goes back to 5,000 almost dollars. Who can make sense of this? I don't. But, if you buy when it's relatively cheap and you sell when it's, recovering, then you'll do well. And I think that's another opportunity here. You feel the pain in your body, and that's also something I've learned over the years. Like this kind of pain, these are buying opportunities.